Hello, my name is Amber Hudson. I am the Education Director at First Makerspace. I am one of the newest members of the team and was hired to handle all of the professional development that First Makerspace does. We provide professional development for all of the materials that we carry in our catalog. That includes professional development services for our 3D printers and laser cutters. And my main role is to handle all of the professional development that's done for the materials that we might place in a makerspace at the elementary level, middle school level, and high school level. The point and purpose of our time together is to share information with you about creating a virtual makerspace. As we are all well aware of, my time in the classroom just recently was from a virtual standpoint. And as much as we want to return to the classroom as quickly as possible, it's kind of up in the air whether or not that will happen. And so we have the opportunity to take what we would normally do in the classroom and create a virtual form of that in the form of a virtual makerspace. And we're going to share with you a couple different ways to do that today. We are available through our website, or you can email me directly at amber@firstmakerspace.com with any questions that you have at any point in time. I am by no means an expert on Google Slides or all of the different methods of creating a virtual makerspace, but I am a teacher that came straight from the classroom, and so I do have some experience with that, and hopefully can share a few tools for you that will make your virtual makerspace come to life. So let's talk about first why a virtual makerspace. Teachers' plates are full. Let's be honest. There's a lot going on right now, and trying to manage Zooming with students that are currently virtual while teaching kids that are in the classroom, it's a very, very difficult time. And by recreating what you would normally do in the classroom in a virtual way, you're giving all students an opportunity to experience some form of making, which we find highly valuable. The connections between the brain and the hands. There's so much resources and research to support that whatever way we can bring that back to our classroom kids is going to be valuable. So we want to share two different ways that you can do that today. The first one is through a website called Symbaloo. And again, I am not an expert at all, just sharing what has worked well for me in the classroom. I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see a pretty basic method of how to create a Symbaloo virtual makerspace. So Symbaloo has a large quantity of resources available. Basically anything that's found on the web, you can recreate in the form of a Symbaloo website. So let me take a look at this one. When you go to the Symbaloo site, you're presented with a fresh blank screen like so, with a lot of advertisements. It's a little bit annoying from time to time. If you look at this empty screen, I'm going to go up here to this small little square right here that allows me to add a web mix. And so that's what I clicked on to create a blank web mix, is what they call them. I'm going to title this one Makerspace Run Through. So what we're going to do is pull items from the web that allow kids the opportunity to use what's out there virtually to make. And so there's so many different options that you can go with this. I'm going to start with Lego because that's obviously an easy one that kids are familiar with. When you search the web through Symbaloo, you basically get a list of everything that's available on the web. So if you want to look for a Lego simulator or something related to like where kids can actually build Legos, Mecca Bricks is a great one. It does require a little bit of practice to be able to understand how to use it, but it is a simulator that actually has real Legos and they can place them and manipulate them. And so I want to add that to my Symbaloo. I click that button, and if I go back to, there we go, it will place it in a tile. I just missed that there. Let's do this one. I can find then not there. You have to go through the web like I did before. There it is. Add to Symbaloo. And here we go. I'm going to click add this tile. It'll choose some type of option, a picture that represents that particular website. I also want the regular Lego website just for the option of searching for Legos. And here's the tile that pops up for that one. I'm going to add that one. I will just continue to think about all of the items that I use in my own classroom, in my own makerspace, and figure out a way that I can pull those into a web-based platform like Symbaloo to be able to share all of these safe links in one place with my students. So I'm going to hop over to the one that I created. This is my finished virtual makerspace. I kind of divided mine into computer science, all the websites that I might use in the classroom. Some of them have direct links to hands-on games or things that students could use immediately. Others are more going to take them to the website for the product. What you'll see over here are all of the products on the right side that we carry at First Makerspace. So I wanted to highlight some of those. I pulled in some video components down here at the bottom, and then included the Indiana Academic Standards. We're based out of Indiana, so I chose that one. But students aren't probably going to utilize that, but I would as a teacher. So I included it in my makerspace. This is what my virtual makerspace looks like. There's a little bit of every piece of computer science and coding to building hands-on activities. From a teacher standpoint, there are lesson plans that are included. TeacherGeek has an amazing resource of lesson plans for their hands-on items. Brown Dog Gadgets does as well. 3D Doodler has lots of ideas for ways you can create in using a 3D Doodler pen. Make Do has tons and tons of ideas. So all things that you can pull as a teacher, but also things that you can utilize as a student. And then there's a shareable link up at the top that makes it really easy for you to just take the link or embed it into your LMS, whatever that current LMS system is that you're using within your building. So Symbaloo is an easy, very, very easy way to create a virtual makerspace. The other option that's a little more in-depth in the last year, really when virtual learning started, Bitmoji classrooms just took off. I did not come from a Google-based school, and so it wasn't quite as easy, or I guess teachers in my building weren't utilizing it as much just because we weren't Google-based, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. And so I loved the opportunity of playing around with creating my virtual makerspace through Bitmoji, through Google Slides. That's what I used to create mine. So I'll share that with you now. I kind of want to walk through the basic how-to of it. Again, I am not an expert. There are fantastic YouTube tutorials out there that make it really easy to follow the step-by-step directions. That's exactly what I did. Kristen Panziner from Classroom Teacher has a fantastic step-by-step tutorial that works really, really well. So I recommend using hers. There's a little plug for her. But really, once you get into it, the steps are really simple. So I'm going to share some basic, very basic steps to how to create yours. The Google Classrooms that I have seen seem to revolve around teachers recreating what their classroom looks like and then adding in some fun elements. We're going to focus on how to build a virtual makerspace within Google Slides to give students the opportunity to, again, take what you've been using in the classroom and make a virtual version of it. The virtual classrooms are never going to replace the value of a teacher and students getting hands-on opportunities within the classroom. That's just not going to be the case, but I do think it provides some fun for students, and all of us could use a little bit of that right now. So here is the very basics behind creating a virtual makerspace. You just need to open up Google Slides. That's where you're going to start. It's a free resource, so available to everyone. You'll want to name yours. I'm just going to call this a run through. Yes, I know that's not spelled correctly. Sorry, teacher friends. And you start with a blank slate like this. You're going to go to the insert button and insert an image from the web. and it brings up this little box over here where you can search for just about anything. If I just searched background, I'm going to get lots and lots of options of just very generic backgrounds. If I wanted it to look like a classroom, I could search that specifically, and I get backgrounds that look like classrooms, which are fantastic. I wanted for mine just an empty room. I like the idea of starting from scratch with a blank space. So I wanted a, let's call it a wall and floor background and see what comes up. Here you get like an actual room. It just looks like a space. So this might be something that you would want to work with if you're building from scratch. So let's say that I insert this one as my background on my Google slide. I want it to take up all of the space provided. And this gives me a great starting point. Yeah. And then to me, this is the most fun part because you just start building. So if you wanted to build in furniture, you can search for and this is key. You want to use the word transparent with any items that you're putting in. It will take away any type of background that's there and just allow the image itself to show up. So I kind of bounced back and forth between what looks like reality and what might be more of a clip art type of piece of furniture. It's kind of your preference. There are going to be so many to choose from. So if I choose this one and insert it, then I can resize it to make sure that it fits the correct space appropriately. I can bring things into the foreground and bring things into the background just to make it look as realistic as possible. But that transparent piece is key. Let's just do one more piece of furniture and then we'll move on from there. Let's say that I wanted some type of shelf. Cool one. And then resizing the objects to fit appropriately. Again, this is where you can get lost and lost for hours. I don't necessarily like how that doesn't show up very well, but you get the idea. So you're going to build in the pieces of your makerspace. And then it starts to become fun as you look for images that relate directly to your makerspace. So if you have a space in your classroom dedicated to a makerspace, you're going to probably have some common items like tools and recyclables, maybe some Legos. Those are the types of things that you want to think about implementing into your virtual makerspace. I'm going to hop over to my other version. This is my completed makerspace, virtual makerspace. Here's my cute little room. And what you'll see is I tried to bring in things that reflected my personality, but also things that I would have had access to in my real makerspace. Again, not going to replace that experience for students, but they will have the opportunity to at least use this some time that they have on their hands to do valuable things. So in my makerspace, I included a peg wall with tools, a 3D printer. We at First Makerspace love Dash and Dot, and so I included that robot. You'll see Legos, cardboard construction, recycling, and then some personal things. I love iced tea, so I included that in there for fun. And then in my classroom, we have a pet named Sahara, and so the bearded dragon also made it to my virtual makerspace. So what's great about a virtual makerspace is once you have all of those items inserted and in place, then you get to include the hyperlinks that I think are the most important part of a Bitmoji classroom, is giving your kids a direct link to what it is that you want them to explore. But it's kind of in a hidden way. So students have to play around with what items are clickable and directly linked to a hyperlink versus those that are not. So the 3D printer, for example, has a direct link to Tinkercad, and Tinkercad is the very basic beginning to 3D design, and it's great for kids to play around. It's free. So that would be a great place for them to start to learn about 3D design. There's a link to our First Makerspace website through the picture of First Makerspace. Dash and Dot connects to the Wonder Workshop website. Lego connects to their website. For the recycling, there are hundreds and hundreds of ideas out there for things that you can do with recyclable items. So I've included a link to that as well. Cardboard and construction is a little bit more challenging, but I linked this one to the Make Do website, which is a cardboard construction site. You could also link something like that to the Canes Arcade website, which leads you to the Global Cardboard Challenge, which happens every fall, I believe. So there's lots and lots of things that you can pull in. I tried to find a wood shop toy or tool simulator for the pegboard, but did not have any luck with that. But I think there are other multiple links that could be used for the pegboard. There's a hydroponics link, a link to the plant. So again, it's just as much as you want to take it and recreate your space, or as little as you want to do to just give students an opportunity to maybe focus on one thing only in your virtual makerspace, whatever the current topic is. If you're doing computer science, maybe you're connecting it to Lightbot, which is a fantastic app that introduces the idea of coding, or code.com, Hour of Code. The opportunities are endless. Once you have your makerspace set, there is a key piece to making sure that you recreate this exact site, but lock it so that students cannot move any of the objects. It would not be good if you send it out as a link to your students and then they have the opportunity to change everything. You would not want to do that. So you'll notice that this is my locked version of this. Again, there are so many tutorials online about how to do each one of these steps in more detail, or you definitely can email me and I am happy to help in any way that I can. Once you have finished your virtual makerspace, then you can easily get a link for it to share. I believe it's in this upper corner right here, and put that into your school LMS or a newsletter that you send out to families. However it is that you would typically share information, it's very easy to do that. I think most importantly, that you want to allow students the opportunity to have value in what they're doing. And this would be one of those, as a parent and as an educator, I think a virtual makerspace like this lays out both. It's valuable to students. It's connecting them to you in the classroom. It feels familiar to them. And a lot of what they're going through right now does not feel familiar. And so any way that we can provide them that sense of comfort, this is a way to do that. You're recreating your own space. It's standards based. Everything that we're connecting our links to are things that I would use in the classroom in a regular school year. And there is value in that. And there's value in using a virtual makerspace even when you are 100% in person. Most of all, I think it provides a lot of fun for students. I think they need some of that right now. And this is a great way to do it. Let them explore on their own and give suggestions on what should be added to your makerspace if they find a website that seems to fit with this type of topic. So much fun to be had here. It's just a great resource and allows students to feel connected to you, to one another, and provides a lot of fun. So thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Again, my website, my email address is Amber Hudson, amber@firstmakerspace.com. And our website is firstmakerspace.com. Feel free to find us and look us up. We look forward to hearing from you.